All right, we're here at the Lucky 13 podcast, and I got James Ryder and Kevin Scondotto. What's up, fellas?
What's up, man?
What's up? Thanks for having us again.
James Ryder from the band Ryder, and Kevin Scondotto from promoter from Blackthorn, Castle Heights, Lucky 13, whatever. Been around for years. You got to know Kevin.
Kev Castle.
Yes,
Kev
Kevin
Scondotto.
What's happening, guys? You guys been busy, right? No?
busy worrying.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking stressful, as we all are.
It's very stressful.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, it's like I said, we'll get into a bunch of different stuff, but it's like the same old shit, different day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the scary part, because we were here in May.
Yeah.
Talking about maybe midsummer sometime we'll get up and running, right? I mean, we were all hopeful.
Yeah.
There's nothing
Yeah.
set in stone, and all you could do was make guesstimations. So, I mean, again, and in this business, and bands too, I mean, people are still practicing like, yeah, we're going to get back. And here we are. We're almost in September,
Yeah.
and we are like, we don't know what to
Still
think.
no idea what the fuck's
No,
going on.
and we're not getting much help from the powers that be, giving
Oh,
us
fuck
any
no.
hope or any kind of even, again, even if they gave us some estimation,
Yeah.
even if they said January, I think if things stay down, and the new year you can look to getting back to business, something like that. Then we can say, all right, we got to tough it out a few more months. They're just kind of coasting us along, hoping that we don't probably make too much of a stink about it.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking the New York nightlife, restaurant owners, club owners, bar owners are going to have to form some sort of super alliance
Gonna have to
fight
band
this.
together, yeah.
Or everyone's going to go down with the ship, and it's not necessary for everybody to go
Well,
down with the ship.
what
Yeah.
sucks is you have no date set. It's just basically you're closed until I say you can open.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, I mean, if gyms can open up at 33% capacity
we
and
do
I can
this.
have someone, sweat all over me and do whatever, you know, I don't know. It's kind of a double standard for this industry.
Fuck yeah, it is. And now they just put the rule in where you can't do ticketed shows at venues and stuff like that. It's like, okay, when this does open up at 33%, you can't even do that anymore, which is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Listen, I will if that happens, I think places should work off a donation thing. You know what I mean? Suggested donation. Can you even get away with something?
We're going to have to do that,
Definitely.
because who's going to pay the talent? And you're talking about people who are professional musicians.
Yeah.
Pay cut.
Yeah.
What pay?
Yeah.
And how are you going to pay a sound man, a doorman,
Yeah.
a bartender? Where's this money coming from?
Yeah.
And we're already cut to 33%, and you're already fighting. You're pissing up a rope as it is on a daily basis. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any understanding by the governor or by the mayor or any city, officials elected of how the business works, not only in restaurants, clubs, bars.
Yeah.
I don't know what they think we make or what we do. And after putting us under like this for months, I don't even know how they would have the nerve to even propose an idea like that. I'd rather be just closed in general.
I don't think they realize either, like, how much this city lives off nightlife
Absolutely.
and restaurants.
Absolutely.
That's what people come here for. We're open till
Absolutely.
fucking 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
And the food, you can get any kind of food you fucking want to. You can do anything you want to till there's every kind of club, every kind of bar till 4:00 in the fucking morning.
Exactly.
And now we're also forced to close at 11:00 at night, and we're doing on a fucking our sidewalk thing. We're lucky over here because we have a nice big sidewalk. But other places, especially Manhattan, is completely fucked. Manhattan is.
Have you been to Manhattan or attempted to go to a place, see what's going on, just to see the landscape over there?
Oh yeah. I've been through my girl's working in Manhattan. I've gone to pick her up a couple times. Even when this thing started, I rode my motorcycle through Times Square and like fucking ghost town, and there was still a dude out there though trying to sell his CDs. We stopped on the motorcycle and like fucking went to take a picture, and this dude comes like, "Hey man, got some fucking CDs." I'm like, bro, A for effort, but no, I'm not buying your CD.
It's like that Will Smith movie, right? What is it? Legend.
I Am Legend.
Yeah.
I Am Legend.
Yeah, it was totally like that. Like there was some cops wandering around. There was some people out there taking pictures, but also the rest of the city just driving, seeing the places boarded up and the homeless just camping out in front of places, and it's fucking sad. Manhattan's fucked. People are moving out of Manhattan in fucking droves. So.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole thing. There's no game plan for a comeback, and the optimism is really at an all-time low.
Yeah.
I mean, so, like I said, when we were here in May, we were kind of like, a couple of months. This has been rough, but it can't go on much longer.
Yeah.
And again, those 3 months, It's September almost. We missed the whole spring and the whole summer.
Yeah.
And spring is biggest, and you know this, Jeff, best, and you know this too as a musician. Spring and fall are the best times for bars and touring musicians.
Well, spring and summer. Fall is kind of when it dies.
Summer too, but there's the big concerts to deal with and stuff. Summer, you know, Jeff. August is the dog days. We take what we can get.
Yeah,
but October, November are crucial for bars, even up to Christmas.
I don't know, man. We had a lot of stuff going on in August. Even before, you know,
we were
I think
booked.
the beginning of
I was supposed to play here in August.
Yeah, the beginning of the year. There
Big
was,
shows.
August was supposed to be.
We were loaded. We were loaded for
be-
August. I canceled 7 days. that
Dude,
week.
I think August would have been fucking packed here. We had that Ride for Dime thing that was going to happen here. We had a lot of events that, like, on our own that we had canceled that we,
the Four in the Chamber reunion and all that stuff.
yeah.
Ryder's record release. We had a ton of stuff. going on.
Our calendar was booked up until August. September, we hadn't started booking yet.
Yeah.
But, like, up until August. And summers are like, not completely horrible here, believe it or not.
No.
Like, we got a lot of, guys coming through and but spring and fall is always the best. But summer, I always feel like summer's kind of fun because you get bands in. It's not super packed, but it's summertime. It's always a good vibe, Like, so I always enjoy that summers here, even though some of the touring stuff stops. But and now it's whatever.
But fall is crucial. I mean, October with the Halloween theme in this place.
Oh, yeah.
Being what it is, every night can be Halloween.
Dude, October, our calendar is usually packed at least 6 days.
And
a week.
right
We have
now
events
it's
going.
what the fuck kind of thing. It's we don't know what to do.
See what happens and
Well, it's hard to book, and you know this too. I mean, and I even see Melody's frustration when people ask, "Well, so what's going on?" There's nothing. There's nothing going on. You tell us.
Yeah.
We're not special, and I get it. And the frustration I see the Black Dawn's email too, where ownership is like the same as what you see in the world. Nothing.
Yeah.
We're not. We love to tell you, "Oh, big show next week."
Yeah.
But it's weird, like that. And I know that people aren't doing it to be dicks, but
No.
you see it too that they write. It's almost like, are you paying attention to what's going on?
Exactly.
And again, you try to be nice to everybody because but it can get frustrating answering the same questions. And Black Dawn guys owner started saying, "Check New York one." It's like, and that's what he's pretty much saying. That's his generic answer for stuff now.
It's funny. I still get phone calls here. People call during the day. They're like, "Hey, you guys open?" Like, "Yeah, dude, kinda." You know what I mean? Like, kinda. We're fucking open. Whatever, man. It's frustrating. And I also was saying earlier to you guys that I'm seeing the decline in people paying cash, people coming up and putting money on their credit card. So what happens when that runs out for them? Also, people that just want to blow off some steam and come out and spend money on their credit cards.
Yeah.
But people aren't getting the unemployment they were getting before.
Yeah.
And I'm back to doing fucking some construction work, which I never didn't plan. This is why I never say I will never do that again, because you never know what the fuck is going to happen.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of bar owners who open up the door like, I'll never do fucking such and such.
Oh,
again.
yeah, those days
I'm
are over. Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I will never say that. I never take for granted what I have. And I'm like, all right, man, I got to put my fucking work boots on again and start doing that shit.
Well, it's a good thing that you had that kind of
it's
thing
good
in your back pocket.
Yeah, no, it's good that I know a guy that I do plumbing with in the neighborhood, and he's kind of helping me out, giving me a little
Yeah, with
jobs
people
here
being
and
home,
stuff,
they're going to need that. So you probably need more services and home care and stuff like that, or taking care of things around the house. But again, I think because people say, I'm probably in the new year. Some people are saying November again. And I think everyone's got a right to feel kind of jaded and conspiracy theorist oriented, like, November, things can change. And I think that's
it's
a
totally
fair
going to
thing.
change.
50% of the people I talk to who are not political, and me and you talked about it, fuck both sides, seriously. I don't mind saying that. And I'm sure a lot of people who are going to listen to this agree, especially musicians and people who work in our industry. Because, and if it is that way, I think shame on everybody for doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know what's going on. I don't think anybody can say, well, here's the stats, and then someone counters with, well, here's what I heard. And here to show you another thing, And it's everybody wants to be right, but more like everybody wants to be righteous.
Yeah.
It's like everybody wants to be righteous.
Everybody's got a fucking platform. I'm like, can we just get along and fucking start getting shit back to normal, please?
Well, and that's also the thing too is with everything going on, you don't know what fact is anymore. You don't know opinion. Some people are passing opinion off as fact, and even on a band perspective too, it's like, as a New York band, considering the touring that Ryder did before all of this. Right now, and we do get offers. We can go out of state. We can go to other places. The problem is most of the states offering us shows are on the restricted list, which means getting there isn't the problem. And I'm sure I could get a nice payday by going out there and doing it. What sucks is coming back on two fronts. On a business front, because now I have to quarantine for 14 days, which affects my day job, which affects everything else, which affects my income.
Yeah.
And then on a moral level, it's like, what? Then I'm going to get lambasted. Oh, you went out. You brought COVID back to New York. You're an asshole. You're this and that. And it's like, it's not worth the fucking stress.
Yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of people that went out to the motorcycle rally out to Sturgis. I know some people that went out there. And
I was going to ask you about that. Like, I know you go usually almost every year.
I was only there once. I was
only
there,
once?
Yeah, I was there 2 years ago. I would love to have gone this year, but first of all, money's fucking tight as fuck.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
And it's a lot of money. It's expensive out there, man. Like especially and it's at least a week. Like going out there, it's such a long drive out there. It's at least a 2 to 3 day ride to get out there. And then, you want to spend 2 or 3 days there, and then it's 2 or 3 days to get home. So, it's expensive. It's a long trip. But also, too, there's I don't want to be that guy either. Like, you go out there, and all of a sudden say you do get it, and then you bring it back, and then now you're spreading it back around New York City.
And again, you just don't even know if that's the case. It's almost like you have this 50-50 thing in your conscience about, you want to be defiant, but not to be defiant to be reckless, but because you don't trust what people are telling you. You don't want to feel like a sucker, but you don't want to feel like a sinner either.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a real double-edged sword for most people.
You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. Yeah. So it's kind of one of those things. You wait and you see what happens.
But what I don't like is the people who are almost like, well, if this goes on, like who are dismissive of people in our profession, which I don't like, and it pisses me off. People like, well, I'm sorry, seeing a band is not an important thing. I'm sorry, going to a bar is not an important thing. I'm like, what do you do for a living? Well, I'm a mail carrier. I'm like, you have a fucking job.
Exactly.
Like,
that's how we make our money.
Yeah, exactly. That's I don't even want to have a discussion with if someone doesn't know our industry. I'm sure you've heard from a couple of people too. Yeah,
I've seen it. Shit. Yeah. Listen, I also remember when this thing first started, and some guy wrote. So one of our customers started a GoFundMe for us,
right?
And some guy from and we posted it. Some guy from Michigan said, "This isn't the time to be begging." And it was like, whoa. And like, dude, everybody jumped on him. Like, fucking, first of all, he's from fucking Michigan. He's not even from around here. Yeah. And it was like, bro, I felt weird about even doing it. Our customer did it. We didn't think it was going to last this fucking long.
But thank God.
Yeah, thank God. Thank God we got some help from people.
And every club did it, Jeff. And every I don't think there's one club that didn't do it.
Yeah.
Kingsland, Blackthorn, St. Vitus. I think.
Yeah.
Because everyone, if you're not a corporately owned venue, which let's be honest, the corporately owned venues, look. That Saudi hedge fund invested $500 million into Live Nation and Carnival Cruise, so they're fine. They're taken care of.
They're fucking fine because you know what? As soon as they started talking about all these grants and all this kind of stuff that you could get, they have lawyers that sat down, filled out the paperwork within fucking 24 hours, had it out, and had gotten their money already. Anybody like me or you. We got to sit down and now figure out this paperwork that's like, all right, you got to get these numbers and these numbers. Now I'm calling my accountant to get these numbers. And, okay, am I doing this right? And you don't want to fudge anything.
And you fuck up one thing on the form, you don't get the money.
Exactly. So they have lawyers that did it and they got their money immediately. It's
Absolutely. And then what did they do afterwards is then they put out that inter-office memo that leaked of, we're going to put onus of cancellation on the bands and we're going to charge them a cancellation fee. And, even though we're making money, we're going to fuck the bands, the people who are making us the money. So
fuck Live Nation.
That's like what's going on right now. People trying to get their money back for tickets because they say if they reschedule, they don't have to. But people are like, but what if it's canceled again? And like, what are the chances of that?
You have no idea if you're going to be around a year from now.
Well,
in general, I don't know.
And that's Ticketmaster doing that. And listen, some dude that just spent $600 on tickets. He needs that $600 right now, So it's everything's fucking fucked.
Yeah.
Exactly, because some people had gone through with when back in May when we were here. If you remember, there was a bunch of shows on. Even Life Agony shows were on in October and November back in May.
Yeah.
And then throughout the summer, everything was scrapped.
Yeah, everything was started to get canceled.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. When we were here back in May,
Yeah.
we didn't have the restricted travel list.
No. Yeah.
We didn't have everything. We were actually like, that was the height of like us really getting like hit hard, because that's what a lot of people don't realize, is that we were in the thick of this. You know, all of the people from out of state and like other places are just like, oh yeah, is COVID really real? You know, is this? No, it's fucking real. Like people are actually really, really hurting. And the fact that we're at the point we're at today where it's so low, I mean, that's a
1%.
testament to New Yorkers.
Yeah, well, you also see it like. I've been out of New York. I've gone up to Massachusetts. I actually drove down to Florida in May just to get the fuck out of here, and that was a whole nother shit. Whatever. But it was all weird. But and then as soon as we got down there, it was like, oh, now Florida started getting hit hard and whatever.
Right.
So we, but if you go outside of New York, I mean, listen, even just go a fucking hour upstate, it feels a little more fucking normal. Listen, when you're surrounded by it in New York. With like you just walk out your door and you see all the outdoor seating, and then everybody's walking around in the masks, and you see it very much here. But like you go upstate, go to Massachusetts, go where else, and it doesn't feel. I mean, the major cities, yes. But you know, if you go into the suburbs, it doesn't feel as crazy as it does in New York.
I went to Newport's last month, and
right.
that was the first time, you know, and that's not far away from here.
Yeah.
You know, that was the first time I was able to sit in an
Sit in a
indoor
restaurant.
restaurant.
Yeah.
It felt so weird. It was just like, oh yeah, come sit here. You could take your mask off. Like, and it was just so funny because I'm sitting at the table. I'm like, okay, so what's the difference between me having my mask off here?
Yeah.
And not saying that I'm advocating not wearing masks, but it's just one of those things. Does the table protect us? Is there a bubble that fucking comes over us?
Listen, man, I feel like they should fucking open things up. People who are at risk, stay the fuck home.
Exactly.
You know, if you think you have any underlying condition, stay the fuck home. So it's
People
whatever,
have to
man.
do that on their own. Exactly. It's like they want. I don't get it. It's a real, crosshairs thing. It seems like they don't want government interference, but then they want the green light by the government on everything they do.
Yeah.
It's like either you got to look out for yourself, and you got to know your own conditions, your own health.
Yep.
Again, I agree with you, Jeff. It's like if they even open at 50%, you can't expect a bar or a venue or the doorman to, okay, we can do a temperature take or whatever. But, what are we going to do? Q&A? When was the last time you sneezed? When was that? This is not what we do here.
Yeah,
you know, everyone's a medical profession.
And that 50%, how do you keep people spaced apart? Like now, you got to have tables set up for the 50%, so people can't stand and watch the band. Now you got to sit and watch the fucking band. It's just, I don't know, man. It's all fucking crazy.
Exactly. Again, with those rules, there is no concept. They have no idea on how this thing we do is done, and and across the boards and across rock clubs and. It's not a supper club.
Yeah.
Nope, we're not sitting here. We don't have Dean Martin on stage.
It's not like a speakeasy where where we're able to sit. And it's not like the Copacabana where it's like,
Bobby
oh hey,
Vinton singing Blue Velvet on
we
stage.
can watch this. But here's also another
Not that
thing
I wouldn't
too.
book that, Jeff.
With government and with everything going on, obviously Cuomo doesn't know about this industry. I wouldn't expect him to know about this industry, and that's fine. Get a committee together of people who are in the industry.
Yeah.
Why is it, to open up schools, you're consulting all of the education professionals to open up everything else. You get committees of people that are in the fucking field and you talk to them. Why do we not get that same fucking courtesy?
Yeah. Well, listen, that's what that nightlife organization's supposed to be fucking doing, is helping us out. But, I know Melody had wrote to them before about, us having to close at 11 o'clock because, we don't get busy till fucking 10 o'clock. And even still, like, we try to beg people, like, please come earlier. But no, most of the people we know don't leave the house till fucking 9:30. Yeah. And then they're getting here by 10 and they got an hour to fucking woof down.
That's what I'm saying. They have the people who are making these rules have no idea of how this business works.
No idea.
And for them to go, well, get acclimated to it because you're saving lives. I'm like, that. You can't just throw that out. That's not the way it works. And we were also told this was a temporary situation for a long time. Yeah. Now it's prepare for the long haul. Yeah. What does that even mean?
How do you prepare for the long haul?
Prepare for the long haul. Everyone's broke.
Yeah.
I've depleted my savings.
Me too.
It's like, what are we all supposed to do here? And again, Give us some sort of estimation of when we can even be at 50% capacity. And with schools opening up, I think that's ridiculous because you got 8 hours of school,
Yeah.
or however amount of time people are in a building, and we can have 50
Depending
people in
on
this
what
place.
happens with that, even too, because who knows? That's the thing. There's so much unknown. They can open up the schools, and there could be an outbreak the very
then they
next
just
day,
shut everything
and
right
they
back down
shut everything down
We were
again.
talking
So-
about it outside. The thing that I don't like is when they do this update on 3,000 new cases, but break it down for us. 3,000 new cases. How many are in the hospital? How many are dying? How many are asymptomatic? Is it 9? Because they just throw out numbers and they don't give you the breakdowns and
Yeah.
anything. Listen, when you say people are hurt in combat or killed overseas, they give you the breakdown of how many soldiers or lost,
Yeah.
this or that. They just tell you 2,000 new cases, and again, people should say, well, wait a minute, doesn't mean 2,000 people are dying.
Yeah, no. Well, listen, I was telling you guys outside. My friend, her whole workspace, they just got tested all positive. Not one of them has symptoms. You know, it's like, okay, yeah, now there's these new cases, but has the strain gotten weaker? And is it now not affecting people like it did?
And
in
they
the
were all
beginning?
fine, you said,
Yeah,
right?
all of them fine.
Now, say
no
they never
symptoms,
took that, they would
asymptomatic,
probably
yeah.
think, oh, we have a healthy office here.
Yeah.
They would have no idea. And another thing with testing, because I went through it to go back to my job, how long it takes to get those goddamn results.
Tell Jeff what happened.
Oh
Yeah.
my
I just got
God.
I just got tested on Friday. I had my results in 20 minutes.
My
They're starting to set up places
yeah,
like that.
my place, I got tested on July 27th. It was almost 2.5 weeks. I didn't hear a result back. It finally got to the point where my boss called me up
Threatened
and
his job.
said, if you don't get your results by Friday, we're going to fire you.
Wow.
So I had to contact these labs. I had to contact everything. I had to go and get 3 other tests. And here's the thing. I'm going to urgent care. So drive-in places do not have appointments ready. You
Right.
can't just drive in there. So I'm going to urgent cares. I'm going to all of these places. That's like, I mean, even my dad, because my dad had COVID back in April. He
Yeah.
just got the bill for his test last month. It was $75.
Right.
So if it's $75 for regular tests, which I took 3 of them, so you do the math of how much it is, and the one that ended up getting me the results, I had to schedule an appointment for a rapid test, and they say that those are not covered by insurance. It is $200 a pop.
Wow.
What did you? How much was it for you, Jeff?
Free. I went to there's a free place right over here in Sunset Park. It's on 58th Street, right down by the Brooklyn Army Terminal. Like they tell you to download the app. You can sit there and wait, and they'll come out and tell you your results, or you can download the app and they'll hit you back within.
It was
within
weird. I
20
took
minutes.
the test and it said to be announced. And I said,
Sounds like your life.
sounds
Gary.
like my life.
Yeah, man. Well,
To be announced.
Yeah, they're getting a little bit better with the testing, and but I don't think they're putting it out there. Like, listen, I was in and out of there in 15 minutes, and then I had my results back in 20. It was kind of amazing. But no, there was not that many people there. I figured there'd be a fucking line of people, But
But let me ask you something. When you go to get tested, did you already have it in your mind that I could probably have it, but I still feel okay?
Yeah,
Like, do you go. You don't go. You're not paranoid about it anymore,
I'm not really paranoid about it,
or
but-
afraid. Not paranoid is maybe the word.
Not really, but I was still kind of starting to give it because, I said we were just around somebody who said that they had it. So that's why I ended up going to get tested. So I was still kind of like, I don't know, man. I did have some little diarrhea this morning. So your fucking head starts playing games with
So
you.
you start
also.
becoming a hypochondriac, and it's just like,
Well,
oh,
it
shit.
would suck for you too because you
Yeah.
got to be here, and then 14 days they wouldn't be able to see you.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah. Well, what sucks too is like even in my case too, if I did come out positive from that first test, well, it took them 2.5 weeks to get me the results. I could have infected so many people at that point.
Yeah, I was hanging around with them, so I would have been had it too.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's all fucking gone fucking crazy.
Well, what's over here now? I mean, are they requiring anybody who's like handling food or even bartenders to take the test?
I mean, they're not really pushing. I know my girlfriend's a hairdresser, and she needs to get tested every
'cause
2
she's got her
weeks.
hands on
but they're
people,
not
so.
pushing it with restaurant people that I know of. But most of my staff has been going to get tested on a regular.
Yeah.
My business my business partner just got tested again.
Yeah.
I knew 2 other more of my staff people just because it's free down here and it went so quick.
That's great that it's
everybody
free.
kind of went over there.
Is
yeah.
that set up in all different boroughs?
Yeah, City MD. Every City MD, it's free. if you find a City MD near you. But that takes like 2 or 3 days to get back to you.
does it?
Yeah.
Sometimes longer, depending. I've gotten tested like 3 times already.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've been tested a few times.
Yeah, because I haven't been all that fucking careful. So, so I'm like, so I've been like, listen, like, when I went to Florida, I wanted a little normalcy, so we went to Florida, but totally felt creeped out when I went down there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was weird, man. Like, going into a couple bars, and the one bar I went into, the dude, like, no gloves, no mask on, no nothing, takes a lime, puts it in my drink. I'm like, like, bro, like every other place I went into, but it was like a dive bar, and I took the lime out and drank it anyway, but I was like, oh, fucking fruit.
Well, alcohol will kill it. So.
Yeah, exactly. But it was a little weird down in Florida, but but that was also like that was in May during like the big peak of it, so it was weird.
When were you last in Massachusetts?
I was up there. When was I up there? Mid-July. Yeah, end of July. I was up this.
Now over there, it's similar to here.
It's similar to here, but the restaurants are open. There's restaurants open at like half capacity.
You can sit down and eat there.
Yeah, you can sit down and eat there. But bars, a lot of the bars are not like you can't sit at a bar. You can sit at the tables, but you can't sit at a bar. So as far as I know, that's what's going on right now. I'm going to go back up there again Labor Day. Listen, any vacation I can take right now that's free. Like my family's still up there, so I'm going to go up there. Yeah. My friend's got a pool and shit, so
enjoy it.
Yeah, no. So I'm just trying to get out as much as possible.
Yeah. Plus, over here for a while, it was a little tense with all the political stuff and everything.
Oh yeah. But it's still too. I didn't want to leave. Because God forbid that starts spreading down this way. We're not far from the Barclays Center.
Oh, no, I know. We were thinking about that back in June.
Yeah.
Early June. I was talking to James. Yeah. And I remember hitting you up saying, everything okay? I was like, yeah, over here it's all right.
Yeah, helicopters fucking hovering above heads constantly.
Jeez.
They're like loud too, like right above the place, like, filming the Barclays Center and stuff like that.
And actually, when that was going on, you didn't have the outside seating and stuff, right?
We just started, we literally, the week before that happened, we just opened up to do to-go drinks.
That's right.
And technically, you weren't supposed to hover, like hang around the sidewalks, but, bro, we had
that was out the window, right?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, we had people bringing lawn chairs and shit like that and just hanging out. And I'm like, whatever, man. And the precinct over here was really cool, and they came over to us and we're like, listen, man. And like, I'm standing outside with a fucking beer in my hand, and he comes up and I like whip my beer down. He's like, relax. So he's like, listen, if
is that the deal? Is it regular cops that are checking on people hanging outside and stuff? Or
at first, that's what it was.
At
first, that's what it was. But no, now the state liquor authority hired undercovers to go into bars, and that's how these bars are getting fucking shut down. Two of our bartenders, their bars just got shut down. Other bars they work at, one in Long Island City, one in Astoria, and
there's one in Astoria. I saw it made the news actually.
There was dude, almost half the bars in Astoria have gotten shut down. It's crazy because Astoria, they had that social distancing protest on Steinway Street. Come on,
I saw that one bar in Astoria where it just that's where ownership had to really take hold. I mean, I can imagine you would never let anything like that happen.
No.
There was like literally 200 people outside.
Oh yeah, well that's the thing when you have that amount of people gathering outside, you're only one person with one or two bouncers at most. How the hell are you supposed to get rid of
sometimes
them?
you're completely on your own.
I have no bouncer right. I can't afford to pay a bouncer right now. So it's me and a bar back.
Yeah.
And
so it's, what are you supposed to do? Get a shotgun and just shooting in the air?
And also,
disperse.
the money you make could be nothing because it'll be 3 times more for a fine or a court case.
Well, so what's happening? It's crazy. They're saying there was the 3-strike rule that they were giving you 3 strikes. I know both of the bars I know that got shut down. They had 2 strikes and they got shut down. And the one guy even said, he's like, listen, he's in Astoria. He's like, listen, if I get in trouble one more time, I'm gonna just close up shop until things open. Until things reopen. So he did.
So it wasn't a complete shutdown. It was a temporary.
Yeah. Well, so he got his second warning, and they said, you know what, all right, I'm going to shut it down for a while till things go back to normal. And then he gets an email saying that he lost his liquor license.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so he's like, there wasn't even a 3 strikes, it was the second one. And from what I heard, there were people gathering outside, but it's also, how do you control all the people hanging out down the fucking street? You can't do it. And that's when it comes personal responsibility,
Yeah.
And
usually when you're dealing with adults, it's not like it's a camp.
Exactly. And but they're also looking for excuses. One of the things that it says on his liquor license, what he got in trouble for was he was serving Jello shots I didn't even know that was fucking illegal.
Really?
You know, so who knew that was fucking
Jello
illegal?
shots?
Yeah.
Really?
So listen, they're making them, and you know how much it is to get your fucking liquor license back once they suspend
What are
it?
they charging?
$25,000. Who's got $25,000 right
It's
now?
$5,000 to get the liquor license, isn't it?
It's about 10 with
Is
the
it 10
lawyer.
now?
It's about
Okay.
10. Well, it's 5 if you do it on your own and you
right.
can fill it out on your own. It's $5,000.
Right.
If you normally you get a lawyer, which makes it easier. It's about $10,000. So yeah, it's costing you more than it is.
Jesus.
Yes.
And I don't get what's the point of bankrupting or smashing down an industry, like I said, especially in the city, which you just said everybody knows is known for it.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd think you'd protect that foundation.
Yeah, that's what
You know
people come here
It
for.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Why else would you come to New York?
Yeah.
You know, Statue of Liberty is all good and everything. It doesn't pay. What does it cost 10 cents to
You
go
know,
there?
Yeah,
look, either you're coming here for the Statue of Liberty, pizza. I don't know what else.
Yeah, no, there's not much. There's not much. Listen, like people do. I don't know, man. People come here for the museums and stuff like that, but they also come here. Those people that go to the museums want to go to a nice restaurant also, and you can't even do that.
Well, you know, me and James noticed too when we started working here over a year ago. People would come up to the door, right, and from all different parts of the world, and be like, "Yeah, I heard about this
Oh, my
place."
God.
And everywhere
Oh, yeah.
from Amsterdam to Tokyo.
Dude,
you know,
the show we played here in October, the last time we actually played here, there was a dude from Germany. He just bought
random,
one of
yeah.
our T-shirts recently.
Yeah.
read about it online,
and he
came
was
here, heard about the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's this place is kind of touristy too, and it's
Oh,
they
yeah.
got that kind of name.
Oh yeah, dude! Every weekend, every Friday, Saturday night, we had tourists coming in here. Even during the week, sometimes we have a lot of tourists coming here checking us out. And,
Right, and that's another chunk gone.
Oh, yeah.
if they're not
Yeah.
going to come to New York.
That's why Manhattan's fucked, because listen, they depend on the after work crowd, which is not happening right now because people aren't going to the offices, and then they deal with the tourism, and then that's not happening right now either. And to open up your restaurant to seat 20 people outside that your restaurant normally holds, say 120, you can't even pay your staff on what you're selling outside.
Dude, that's the funny
So-
thing. Do you think these city da-da-das think that, that there's people here, they're making some money, and
Yeah.
not even knowing, like, moron. That we were shut down for months. I'm playing catch-up for the next fucking 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm up against it like you wouldn't believe. This is nothing.
Yo, the next person that comes up to me on a fucking Friday or Saturday night
Says you
at
make it
9
right.
o'clock and says, "Wow, dude, looks like you're doing pretty fucking good."
Oh,
I want to
smash that face, eh?
punch you in the fucking face. It's like, motherfucker,
It's costing more to keep the electricity on right now than it is for the people that are outside.
Again, it's this false sense of, it's delusion.
They don't understand what goes
They
into it.
want to make sure, they want to believe that you're all right without getting to the nooks and crannies of everything, of just seeing a blanket statement. Oh, everybody looks.
Yeah, you look like you're doing all right.
30
Pretty busy
people
out
here.
here. Fuck
Hey,
you. Come by on a Monday at 7 o'clock and tell me how we're doing.
But not only
you know?
that, it's 30 people. 130 people
Yeah.
here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you do cut everybody down. I think that's just that's the ignorant kind of mentality that's going on with people on a much higher level who
Yeah.
want to shot callers.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
And it's trickled down to some citizens where that's why they're almost even out on our side and go, what do you guys there's ways around it. You guys should be creative.
Yeah, be
Someone even told me
creative.
that as a book.
There's ways around.
creative.
There's ways around it. It's called breaking the fucking law.
Yeah.
What are you?
Well,
what are
no,
you
but
supposed to
there's
do?
Also, too, but also, come on, like. Kevin, there's guys mine in your age. I'm not the most computer fucking savvy
either.
guy
Me
in the
either.
world.
Yeah.
So now, listen, these younger dudes can set up their GoPros and their fucking cameras and take the Venmo and stuff like that. Like, thank God we have some customers. We did a benefit for us a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago.
Right.
Somebody, thank God, somebody
I saw
took
that. That was pretty
somebody
good.
took a handle on that because
Yeah.
I don't know how to fucking do all that kind of
Yeah,
shit.
shout out to James Lane.
Yes, James. Thank you so
No,
much.
James Lane's
James, good
awesome.
guy.
Oh, he's
So
great.
also Solemn Vision, Aaron. I saw their performance on there.
Yeah.
They did a
All great
fucking
guys.
killer
Eat,
job.
Chesty Malone and the Slice of
Yeah.
Moms.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
really,
Jacqueline
it was
Knowles.
really great of all the bands to do it. James fucking rules for doing that. Thank God, he took control of it. And it's funny too for myself. People are like, "Oh, dude, I got some ideas for you," and then they'll tell me, "Be like, yeah, do this and set up a broadcast." I'm like, "Bro, do you know how to set up the broadcast?"
Yeah, exactly.
Like, well, no.
And not for nothing. It's kind of, you can only go to that well so many times because it's a donation thing.
Exactly.
And people will be like, I gave to Lucky 13.
Exactly.
And
I
you
gave
keep
to
giving
Kevin's
it-
cause. I
you
gave to
keep giving
Ryder.
and giving and giving.
Keep giving and giving and giving it. And it's like, and you know what it is? And then they get cynical. And I'm saying, Lucky 13's got a solid fan base because you and Melanie have done right by people.
Yeah.
So you guys are like.
Yeah.
But there's just so much, even me, I'm, pretty popular guy. James, pretty popular guy. But you can only push it so much with people because people are like, I gave all I can.
Yeah.
I've tapped out. I've
I'm tapped
donated
out.
how many,
and they feel
how much
terrible,
money.
and then you have a weird thing with people because
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
feeling
yeah.
like,
I don't even look at like some people, like even a lot of the donations. I think what the good thing with the donations is the different bands that do it.
Right.
Brings a little different crowd.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
but then, like you said, though, you're draining the fucking well.
You're draining
by,
the well.
You know,
you
so,
hit up your
Yeah.
your diehards.
Yeah.
And then the kind of the contemporaries are people who kind of
Come here once in a while.
once in a
Yeah,
while.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then what do you do?
Yeah.
You know, but you can't. And again, that what we're doing is planning for the future that we will get back in action. So we're not trying to scam and scheme, and like we are fighting for survival right now.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think to have the attitude of this is going to pass, we have to keep that attitude because we're just throwing the towel. What's the point?
Listen, I said to Melody, I was talking to Melody the other day, and I'm like, listen, as soon as this starts to quiet down, listen, we were supposed to open up a location in Florida by now.
I
like,
know, it's
all
all-
this kind of stuff. So, and listen, that savings is going the fuck away quickly. So I was like, I said to Melody, as soon as this starts to fucking die down, I'm going to apply for every small business loan we possibly can, and still try to make this happen in another city. And but we'll see how much, how many small business loans we can get. And she's like, are you fucking crazy to think that we could still open up another one in the next fucking 2 years? I said, Melody, if I don't stay fucking positive and
You have
focused on the fucking goal, I'm
Yeah.
going to be so depressed.
Yeah.
And do nothing. I'm like, listen, maybe it won't happen for another 2 fucking years,
Yeah.
but I can still focus
You
on
need
it.
you need to see a light at the end of the tunnel
Well,
because
yeah.
otherwise, why are you in the fucking
Me
tunnel?
and you talked
Yeah.
about that last time, where it's like you've said you've had your days where you woke up and thank God your girlfriend has kept you centered, or she's been a positive
big
thing
time.
and pep talked you.
Yeah.
Because if you can have those days, and I think anybody can have those days, but for us, it's more of if you sat and thought about when is this going to end, or what's going to happen. We would every owner, I think, and I know all owners that I talk to and deal with from multiple clubs are all really mentally exhausted from the what ifs.
Yes.
They
They're trying
don't
to
want
stay
talk about
positive.
it. They
They're
don't
trying
even
to stay positive.
trying to stay positive. We know what to do once we're given the green light,
Right.
But we don't know what to do in flux anymore at this point because again, the GoFundMe's have been done.
Yep.
We can do these kind of online concerts, whatever, but it's going to be few and far between. You can't do it on a regular.
Yeah.
Because again, you drain your resources. So when people say be creative, but I think they want us to be okay. But I think again, it seems like a very survival of the fittest mentality too.
Yeah.
It's like, well, as long- I'm sure people shut doors. They get home from work, go, thank God I have a job and I'm not in a club industry.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they even
Yeah.
say when they walk away from us, those poor
Yo,
bastards.
how happy is the dudes from fucking Webster Hall right now?
Yeah.
They sold that fucking place. They sold that place for a fucking shit ton of money. And a year or 2 ago? And they got out of
Yeah.
fucking business, and they sold it to a big fucking corporation.
Yeah.
They're probably like, woo!
They sold it to Jay-Z, and
Yeah,
he
yeah.
redid it for a year. They reopened it, and then shortly after they reopened,
All of a sudden,
COVID.
everything fucking hit.
It's like anything else. If you're set by a blue collar person and partnerships and people on blue collar levels, I don't even know how anybody. You have to be creative, and by the grace of God, you're going to survive.
Yeah.
And you have to be positive.
Yep.
Yeah. Because it also trickles down. Because if even the people who work for you see Jeff just looks like he's
fucking
out of
miserable.
it, they're going to should I get off this ship? Or
Yeah,
should
yeah.
Because you got to keep people on the ship, and how are you
Yep.
going to keep them on the ship if you're halfway in the water?
Yeah.
It's like, you can't be a miserable. You got to be somewhat positive. So people try and even almost make me feel bad about the industry, and they're like, "Oh, aren't you worried?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm not going to sell it.
I am
I'm
fucking
not going to
waiting.
sell it."
Whenever I see articles, though, I don't know. When you open up Facebook and I see no concerts till 2022, I will not even read. I will not entertain those articles.
And it's not based on anything other than
No.
just someone who got an opportunity. to
Exactly.
write.
Also-
Based off of the statistics that I just thought of this morning, this is why we're not
Yeah,
going to
there's
have the
nothing
concert.
in-
Yes, well, listen, it's also those fucking people that post, the fucking.
The doom and gloom.
Yeah,
shit,
the doom and gloom
yeah.
shit. All of a sudden, this another thing just broke. This another disease just broke out in China.
Oh,
and then, they're
Oh,
locking down.
the plague outbreak and those two
Yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah.
And now we have plague.
Yeah, I'm not fucking reading
That's
it.
another thing, and we have to admit we have some, and it's not even crazy. It's just people who are just. I don't know if they what their deal is of people who are and people we know.
Yeah.
Like I think this thing has taught us that we have some people that you like to be in the foxhole with if anything goes wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And some people that you're just glad you're friends from a distance
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
Because you're like, this dude is talking. I can't let a dude like that get in my head.
Yeah, no.
No.
It's really good. I've been trying to surround myself with people who are like, listen, we're talking about the future. We're
Fighters.
talking about,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. You're trying to be positive. And I know, I met with a friend the other day who's talking about opening up a business. He wants to open up a bar. And he's like, do you think it's a good thing to do right now? And I'm like, brother, like, I say fucking do all the research you can and like focus on it. And yes. And like, what are you going to do? We're going to sit here stagnant and fucking focus on nothing. Listen, it's going to take 6 months for you to build it out. Hopefully in 6 months, things will be bouncing back.
Well, that's the thing about our industry. I mean, even think about it. You know this too. Even if they give us the green light on Monday, like big thing, we're calling each other. Just see, we're back 50%. It's going to take us a few weeks to put together a calendar.
Yeah.
Jacqueline, me, you, we're gonna we have to figure things out.
Yeah.
Okay, game plan. We'll probably have to have a big meeting and get together with everybody because we're really gonna have to. It's not like back in business. It's going to take time.
Getting the bands first. That's the first and foremost thing.
Half
Getting
will be down to play. Half
bands.
will still be hesitant.
Half will be whatever, and then getting the people to come out to the shows because look, we don't know with certain
50-50.
people. It's very subjective.
50-50.
You have people who will probably come out, like the people who will come out immediately are people who have cabin fever and want to get out, but you're going to have a big majority of them that are going to be like, wait, let's see how these first 2 weeks go.
But that's the whole thing. And this club is the size of the place can handle a 50-50.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a place like Blackthorn, 500 capacity, Kingsland depends on 200, 300, 400 people.
Yeah.
That's a problem. If you're under 200 capacity, you're in a better position.
Well, and that's also why, with rules and regulations and stuff, it's very subjective because venues aren't alike. There are some that you can sit there and be like, okay, well, if you have this capacity, you can do. But something that applies to a 50 capacity room is not going to apply to a 500 capacity room.
It's not all. It's not all one size fits all in the situation at all.
No. So. Listen, I really don't think everything is going to get back to normal until either the election happens or they come up with I really think there's going to be a vaccine before the election happens.
I think so too. Wouldn't that be something if the election vaccine November becomes this month and maybe it'll be this epic month of good news?
Well, listen, Trump is going to come out like a fucking hero if he comes up with if they come up with a vaccine
that is true.
beforehand, because then he's just going to be like, well, I'm a fucking hero, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then if he doesn't, the other side's just going to be like, oh, we would have come up with a vaccine already. Yeah. So it's,
But I don't like the dangling your career carrot that both sides are doing to us.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like we don't even know which side is better for as an owner of a venue like you are, or even as a worker in the industry. Who cares less about our industry?
Yeah.
The Republicans or the Democrats? Well, Democrats, liberal people love rock and roll. I don't know about that. It's a tough call for guys in our position. Even if we're all independent thinkers, I consider myself an independent. I've been for 20 years. But I don't know what to believe because I don't believe anybody.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying, Jeff?
Me too, because listen, they say that, the Democrats are more liberal, so they want to open up the arts and get this thing back. But then they're the ones fucking keeping everything closed. But then you got the Republicans who are like pro-business. They want the business to thrive, so they want to open things back up. So I don't know. And all they're doing is fighting back and forth.
And what Biden said the other day scared the shit out of me. If doctors tell me to, I'll shut the country down again in January. What the fuck?
Here's the thing too. Here's the thing too with politics, and I do keep up with politics. As far as me personally, I'm more of a centrist. There are certain things that I lean conservative with, and certain things I lean liberal with. But anyone who sits there, I'm a lifelong liberal, I'm a lifelong conservative. Okay. If you were born, and you first registered to vote and you were a Republican in 1978, the Republican Party today is not the same party as it was in 1978. And you're blindly following all these things. It's conservative, it's Republican, I'm voting across party lines. Pay fucking attention to what they're spouting. Look at their policy. Same thing with the other side. I'm not picking on Republicans. It's the same thing. Look at what they're doing. Look at the facts. Take time to read the laws and educate yourself so you know what the fuck is going on.
I know I have some family members who used to be Democrats and now they're fucking like I couldn't because I knew that like how they were and now they're like crazy Republicans, and I'm like. What's with the fucking switch? But as you said, it's not the same as it was years ago.
No, it's a different. It's totally different. As a matter of fact, it's again. That's why you have to be so careful of what you say in front of anybody. It seems like because the cancel culture. That's another story.
Well, it's so funny too. Like, listen, I'm a fucking, I'm a motorcycle guy, heavy metal guy, whatever. I have like some I hang out with like motorcycle guys, and a lot of those guys are very right wing, and they'll be like, well, like make comments to me like, yo, you agree with me, right? And I'm like, some stuff I agree with you, some no.
But you're also kind of a law and order type of guy. You don't want anarchy, and also it's not good for your business if you have anarchy.
No. And that's what I remember. And I was saying to one of my employees who was like way left when all of a sudden all this thing started happening with the cops, and I know a couple cops who are good guys, and I was kind of worried for them, and I was expressing my worry to this person, and they were kind of looking at me cross-eyed like, yo, they're fucking cops, fuck them. And I'm like, man, no, listen, I support the Black Lives Matter movement, I support the cops, like, can't we all just fucking get along? It's fucking crazy.
The moral of the story is take politics out of this, take movements out of this.
Yeah.
Humanity.
Painting shit in broad strokes doesn't work no matter what the fucking movement. Yeah. That's the basic message of all of this. Everything is subjective. It's not black and white. There is a lot of gray.
Yeah. There's a lot.
I think it's more of a question of like humanity and morality being intact than anything else. Because even in wrestling, even on our podcast, when a person of color loses to a white guy, whatever, they're doing that now in wrestling, a scripted story that's for an act. Basically, it's an act. It's like, they took the title off the black guy, give it to a white guy. I'm like, no, that's not what this is. And why are you seeing it that way? You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Oh, of course, defend. I'm like, no, I'm defending the logic. If you want to find something wrong with anything and everybody, you can. You can do that with anybody. You can even say, he's a biker or whatever. He's probably this way, that way. They don't know you. Same thing with me. They don't know me. They don't know you.
My favorite quote. I don't know this person personally, but I've heard this, and I think they might be right.
That's what's happened to you. I was starting to say, do I know
I don't know them from a hole in the wall, but I've heard this, and this.
Yeah.
Well, we were getting the whole thing, but he got sucked into something. That was somebody went after somebody else online, and he got sucked into it because someone dropped his name in the thread, and then it became about him.
I'm not even going to lie. I'm not going to get into detail about it, but it was so funny when it happened because I heard about it through the grapevine about the other person, and I'm sitting there, I'm doing work because I was doing telehealth from home, talking to my individuals and doing whatever, and I'm drinking my coffee. I'm like, God, it's a great day out. And then Kevin calls me. He's like, dude, you got to see what they're saying about you. I'm like, what the fuck are they saying about me?
And it was about somebody else, and someone dropped his name, and then somebody who didn't like him just made it all about him and all these comments, and I'm like, he wasn't even involved. He wasn't even involved. And again, but it's just, and these are people well over 30 years old. These aren't kids. And it's people and it was just like it. And again, my whole thing was people are bored. They have nothing to do.
Listen,
he was working. That's why he didn't know about it. And the people who were shit talking all sitting home.
Awesome.
They
got nothing else.
I'm walking. I'm sipping my coffee. I'm like, God, it's a good day out. Then ring.
It was funny. They were like, why isn't he coming on defending himself? Because he's working. Like you're supposed to be doing.
What am I? Well, that's the thing. It's like, with everything going on is like a lot of people had a lot of free time. A lot of people had a lot of stuff because
people are pissed off. And they're manifesting and it's being taken out on people they barely even know.
And it's one of these things where it's like, oh yeah, well this happened 4 or 5 years ago. This happened here, and the thing that I am completely against, and I'm not biased because it happened to me or whatever. It's just overall, as a human being. When you throw out damaging allegations like that, it's one thing to call me an asshole. It's one thing to come here and say, I don't like James Ryder because he's a shitty musician or I think he's an asshole. That's one thing.
He's too tall.
But when you go out there and you throw out serious accusations, he's a fucking rapist, he's a misogynist, he's this and that. I'm sorry, those words have meaning. I have a fucking reputation, and I have a life outside of it. That's very fucking damaging, and it's like, something, no one should have to fucking go through that.
Those people don't even know.
It's these fucking, these keyboard warrior people like who feel who was it? I think Mike Tyson said there was a quote I saw from like Mike Tyson like the problem with these the keyboard warrior people they never get punched in the face. Yes, and it's very fucking true.
Well, there is slander and liability that you can hold against people now for posting untrue things on Twitter and Facebook. They can be held, unless it's like a troll and a fake account. But if it's a real person, they're actually putting themselves at risk. You know, because legalities can kick in for these people.
Yeah,
and sometimes you got to do that.
The bottom line is this: just don't worry about yourself. Let other people go about their own lives. If you haven't spoken to someone in years, or you haven't said something to someone in years, either you don't want to talk to them, they don't want to talk to you. If they're living their life, let them be.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, Jeff, even in booking shows, and sometimes, me and you would even like counsel and talk about this band is a problematic band. Well, you'll see bands from out of country. You saw what happened was a year or two ago with that band that was kind of red flagged and they were going from club to club. This happens more often than you think. And it's seen, and it's just usually your network. I've been around a long time. I'm smart. If I see something, I'll give a club a heads up. I don't sit back and go, I don't work there. Let me see what happens.
Right.
So again, and then people will be like, you support Nazi, or like, no, we just, the show is booked, it's canceled, and some people will just go on and on. That's the place that tried to book that band. Shut them down.
That's it. I mean, we've still had. This happened like last summer.
Yeah, a year ago.
There was a girl that said she wouldn't play here because we had a Nazi band.
I remember we were talking about that.
Yeah. No, we didn't.
I was outside when she sent you the email, actually.
It's like, come on, man. Like, we support Nazis. Fuck off.
No, but that's the danger of it. Is you can say a few idiots, but sometimes these people, like I said, they have a platform.
Yeah.
And if they have like 2,000 friends on Facebook, even if a quarter of those friends believe them. Now, you could say, well, they're not club regulars, but that word hurts.
It totally hurts. I'm fucking... when that first happened and people were hitting us up saying, listen, we were told, don't have this fucking band play. They didn't play. The dude snuck in here and they took a picture on the fucking stage.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so all of a sudden there's a rumor that they fucking played here. I don't know what the guys look like coming in here, you know? And I was out of town and that whole shit happened. And I was like... whatever, man. It's just, and then for people to start saying now we support Nazis, and
which is the most ridiculous.
It's like, come on, you fucking assholes! Like, look at our clientele. Come in here one day. Look at our clientele.
You know what the thing is like for people like. People throw around Nazi, like it's the word of the day. You know, it's Nazi this, Nazi this, Nazi this, Nazi that. How many of them have actually, read a book, watched a documentary, like? That's not something you would throw out there if you knew what that movement was about and you're a history buff, because I'm a history buff. I love World War II history.
Yeah, me too.
It's very, very fascinating. Not many people know that, if D-Day didn't go in our favor, we probably would have lost the war.
Yeah.
So, and not many people know that, and they don't take the time to learn history and to do that. So it's like, look, if you believe in these things and you agree with the Nazi thing, that's one thing, but to sit there and just this is this and this is that, so you're a Nazi or this, it's not a buzzword. It means something.
It does, man. And like to put that label on a place also, that fucking dude, when that happened, I remember I was in Florida and I was getting this whole thing was blowing up. And our Facebook page was just blowing up with comments, and I'm fucking arguing back with people. Like,
I remember that melody too, and I remember I was talking to you through that and saying it's like nothing even happened. This thing is completely blown out of proportion.
And I'm fucking yelling. I'm like, "Fuck you! Come to Brooklyn, motherfucker!" You know?
Because
these people that weren't even from here.
You get that kind of street side to you too, that you just get fed up, and you can't. Why do you have to keep it civil when everybody else is uncivil?
Yeah.
And again, you're a man. You're going to stick up for yourself.
And you're also attacking a place that I don't know, man. Like, listen, a lot of the times, promoters, book the shows. I don't fucking look at every single band.
Like, you have to vet everybody like you're
and it's
captain of a precinct.
I kind of believe in human decency, and I don't realize there's so many fucking scumbags out there. And I don't know, man. I'm also a firm believer in freedom. Listen, the band that was supposed to play here too, they were a black metal band who had
Latin members in there. Right?
They were Mexican. They were Mexican guys who played, and all their music was anti-religion. I mean, they bashed Catholicism, they bashed everything, but now they bash Judaism, and all of a sudden they're Nazis. Listen, all this shit is to get a rise out of fucking people anyway. So they start doing that, and so all of a sudden they're labeled as Nazis.
See, people have a hard time, and when you say this, people are like, that's not the word to use. They're entertainers.
Yeah.
And they're entertaining a certain clientele. Well, that's not entertaining to me. It's not for you.
Yeah.
That's the same thing with wrestling. Not
Yeah.
everybody, people say, I don't like that shit. That's not for you.
Exactly.
Perfect mainstream example when Marilyn Manson became huge.
Oh yeah.
How many people are going, oh my God, he's
Columbine.
vulgar,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
this and that. It's not meant for you.
Yeah,
Every
no.
generation has that. I mean,
Well,
even
yeah.
back when Alice Cooper came out, look at him. And
Well, do you think
everyone.
Gigi Allen could be around nowadays?
Oh, Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
God,
No fucking
no.
way.
Hell no.
Especially with COVID, he'd probably be the first one to get it.
Oh yeah.
Now, it's funny because his brother Merle still tours with the Murder Junkies.
Yes.
Because I was supposed to work a show with James Gatskill and me. We're doing something together at the Kingsland with them. They were supposed to play in June.
Yeah.
And James even saying to me, he kind of looks, he's an experienced good booker too. Shout out to him, probably listening to this. Because I'm around for 30 years doing this. So think any offshoot problem because of his brother? Nah. I says that thing is that not on the new version of that.
No.
But there could be some
Yeah.
people out of the blue who have something against his brother from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And it can, but that you can't not book like you can't book like that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Obvious troublemakers you stay clear of, or people who cause a riot in another venue.
Right.
Like look at that band Great White, James. You know.
Oh, my God.
A lot of
Yeah.
people
Great
don't wanna
White,
book them
two
for the longest time. 90
controversies
people
with them.
died.
Yeah.
Because of
Yeah.
that's on them too. They allowed
Yeah.
their stagehand to do pyro.
In
And a club
2000?
not much bigger than Lucky 13.
Yeah.
In 2000, you had the pyro, and then this year they also got lambasted because of the COVID thing.
Yeah, but that's
During that,
nothing
you know,
compared to
it's-
what happened in Rhode
Oh
Island.
yeah, no, obviously there wasn't a body count, you
Yeah.
know, this time around. But yeah,
But again,
no,
so you get that reputation. But again, like you said, club owners can't vet everybody. And
No.
again, Lord knows, even with people in bands we like, we don't know what their deal is in real life.
But listen, right now it's the whole fucking Nazi word, Nazi.
Oh, yeah, it's
and then
the big word.
listen, back in the fucking 80s, early 90s, it was Satanism. Listen, we've had Satan bands, Satan fucking bands, do like crazy fucking rituals on stage and shit. The next day, bro, I'm fucking burning sage. Get the fuck out. You know what I mean? But listen. Back if we were doing this shit in the early 90s and there was all this Satan shit going on stage, people might have been fucking up in arms about that.
Well, I'll tell you, back in the early in the 90s when I first started Castle Lights, we did a band called Mastema and Metastasis. And they played with a band called Fallen Christ. It was a pretty known band. And I was working with a guy named Tom who was a promoter. He was helping do the death metal. I was doing the hardcore. It's like 93. And they burned the Bible on stage. And I remember some girl came to the front, Frank Castle and me, right at the front of the bar and says, this is disgusting. What are you guys letting this go on for? So we didn't realize what was going on. They're like, he goes, what's going on? He goes, burning the Bible. So and people got up in arms about it. I mean, they were now again, it's all heavy metal people, but there were people there. It was like it's very offensive, and we're like trying to. How do we stop the show? Do we go on? And so they had a lull in the time of when the band was playing. They were going to the next song. I took the guy to the side. I said, dude, put that out and give me that. And I was like, I took it, put it in the back. I put it in the sink with water because it was still on fire. And I was just like, and I guess I was, I'm a Catholic too, non-practicing, but I have nothing against.
But you still have that Catholic guilt, though. Everybody's got that.
I do it, but nothing ever happened to me in Catholic. I had a great time. In school. I had a great time at school.
But there wasn't fucking there wasn't cell phones either where somebody's taking video of it. Go look at fucking Castle Heights, you guys.
That if that went on
my
today, I
God.
probably would. There would be a lot of people offended. But again, you can't pick and choose here because if they did it for Judaism, my God, what would have happened? Catholics can't. It can't be okay to do it to my people because it's my people. And I'm cool with it. I don't represent all the Catholics.
That's the thing. That's the thing I was saying. Even on the
You have
way
to be
here,
even
it's
keel in
like
this business.
whatever you do, like performance-wise and everything else, you have to think about what you do, and you gotta be like, okay, is this going to pass the bullshit test?
Yeah.
Because if this isn't going to pass the bullshit test, you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
You're going to, because you're going to get, that's what's coming your way, is you're going to have cow pies flying your way, and you're ducking it and doing whatever. Just a lot of common sense, and that's the key term, common sense. And I kind of feel like that's lost in a lot of things.
It's so listen. Right nowadays, somebody could burn the Bible on fucking stage. Nobody would cause a blink. Burn an American flag on stage now.
Oh,
see,
my
see what the
God.
fuck happens. Times have changed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, thank God we can't allow any kind of fire. Or
Yeah,
anything.
no, I don't want any
Too
fucking
dangerous.
fire in here.
Thanks to Great White, no more
Yeah,
pyrotechnics.
no, but I think in general, just doing that anyway, because first of all, I get pissed at bands that will want to do that knowing they put the club at risk.
Yeah.
Because then your security guy's at risk because he's probably going to take a lot of hits while he's breaking up fights. And you're at risk too. And then the whole show can be shut down. So what are we risking here? How much money are we really making from this little thing that we're doing here?
But it's also, listen, music used to be about expression.
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, come on. The Sex Pistols fucking back in the 70s, you know, he would wear a fucking swastika. Sid Vicious would wear a swastika. Just to get a rise out of people.
Absolutely.
It's the only reason he wore it, you know?
Yeah.
Music was more, it was more rebellious and dangerous. But for some reason, it's looked upon as the good old days, right? And today, let's be honest, Joe, how many people say today sucks? I wonder if, and you're in a band today. How do you even feel about people saying the music today sucks? I'm not saying you suck, but they're saying what you're in today is dick compared to back in the day. You're in a band now too, but when you have been playing for how many years?
A long time.
So you were playing when you were a teenager. So you played in the glory days because me and you were like 20 years older than James. So it's like again. And it's not even the old people, even the young people are like, God, I wish I was back in the early 90s. I heard it was awesome in the death metal scene.
Listen, that's also,
it's a little,
to me, it's all suggestive. It is, because it's, you know what, I'm very fortunate I got to see certain bands that I got to see back when they did.
I got to work with bands like that.
Exactly. But nowadays, I think it's cool that there's so many. Listen, back in, you know, when we were young kids, there was, you know, you had thrash metal, death metal, you know,
commercial
hardcore,
rock.
commercial rock. It was
glam,
exactly. Now you have all these bands who were influenced by everything, so you get some weird fucking cool shit coming out of it. You know, so
I'll give you an example from my background too, and you know, this is a shout out because he just passed away this past Friday. Frankie Benali from Quiet Riot.
I worked with him a couple years ago.
My old band played a show at Blackthorn with Quiet Riot. I met Frankie after the show. Humblest guy possible, very down to earth. We talk so much. We call it Astoria. We talk so much shop, and we kept in touch after that show. That was the first national act I ever opened for, and we kept in touch. He was at the Whiskey when we first played the Whiskey with my old band. He was at the Whiskey when Ryder played New Year's Eve. He was there. He would always give me pointers about the business, and I will go on record saying Frankie Benali and Anthony Esposito are the two people who made me the musician I am today and the business person that I am today doing this. These are old school guys, people who have sold, you know, gold, platinum records in the glory days of the business and everything else. You have to learn from somewhere. That's the thing is I don't think there's like a lot of respect with, you know, people who have come before. It's just always like, no, what they're doing is archaic. It's this and that. You don't have to do it, but you can learn so much.
You can but things just change constantly.
They change, and also we had, you know, MTV was a new concept back then, and also you had to go to the goddamn arena or the club to see the band. You know, sometimes you didn't even know what some of the band members looked like, only from the album cover.
You had to buy the fucking newspaper to see if the fucking band, what bands were playing.
Exactly.
You know, you get the fucking, you know, the Village Voice and shit like that. Like, you know, how awesome was it? I used to love opening up the Village
and seeing
Voice.
the what was coming up
and see what was coming. Then you're scrolling down. Oh shit, these guys are playing this date. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's different. Times are fucking different.
It's definitely different. People still get excited when Maiden or someone comes to town, but it's not the same. It's nostalgic trip.
It's also
now.
a lot more expensive now.
It is. But I remember fucking opening up the Village Voice was kind of like opening up a Christmas present, because it was like sometimes you would see a fucking band coming around that were like kind of an underground band,
and you game plan which ones you're going to go to when you're going to get tickets. You game plan it.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's certain clubs you looked at. You know, you looked at CB's, you looked at Castle Heights, you looked at Wetlands, you know, Lemoore, shit like that. You looked at those places and like scrolling down and seeing which ones, and then you'd have an offshoot in some random club like that Club Life that was in Manhattan. You know,
I was doing even 20 years ago. Tramps, remember Tramps?
Oh yeah,
Testament is playing Tramps, and again, I'm 30 years old at that point, but I'm like a big kid. Because even though I'm doing shows and stuff, I was going to shows on the active. You know, so Testament's playing Tramps. We gotta go. It's like, so I mean, and it's not really, and also when you get older and stuff, and also you're in the business, it kind of depends. Like your attention is elsewhere. You know, it's like I don't know any promoter or booker or even club owner that I think you go out often enough. But even you're probably on nights like I'm not going.
Oh my god, I totally have nights where I'm like, even there's certain bands that I would love to go fucking see, and I'm like, dude. And it's also too. I have friends who want to go to like these biker events and stuff like. That's why I like going to Sturgis and places like that, dude. My life was like a biker party every night. You know what I mean? Like it is.
Yeah.
Like there's so many nights I just want to sit on my fucking couch, watch TV.
Yeah.
When I want to go on vacation, like stick me by a lake or an ocean or a river, and I want to sit back and fucking relax.
Because sometimes you just need that peace and quiet. Especially when you're on the road, when you're touring and you're doing whatever. Before I hit the road, before I did whatever, I was one of those people. Oh, we gotta support every band, stay from beginning to end, stay and do that. And I do believe that you should, you should stay from beginning to end. Here's where it kind of sucked. We did one show, and our first time playing in Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah. We got 45 minutes sleep from the night before because we played in Murfreesboro, North Carolina, drove 3 hours to Durham, North Carolina, slept in a Motel 6 for 45 minutes, and then drove 6 hours to Nashville.
Ouch.
Unloaded, got everything, and believe me, I was literally sitting there. I was a fucking zombie when the other bands were playing. I was just sitting there half the time, like trying not to fall asleep, trying not to do whatever, because I was physically exhausted. I'm very glad I stayed there because I met some really awesome people.
Yo, that's fucking great of you to stick it out. Listen, I see bands here, and some of these guys are fucking all local dudes who play together, and all of a sudden, like
it's a big chore to do a local show.
Yo, but then the last band goes on, and everybody's fucking gone.
I gotta get home.
Why wouldn't you stick around for even now? Whenever I play, I always stick around to see the other fucking bands. I'm not it's just douchey.
This sense of camaraderie is really.
Oh my god, the best part. The best part after a show. Playing the show is great. Loading sucks, obviously, because if you don't have roadies, you got to move your own shit. But playing is great. The best part, though, for me, is staying after the show and talking shop with people.
Yeah.
You learn so much talking shop with people.
Yep.
We did that too, even at a lot of shows that we did back in the day at Castle Heights. Me and John and Dorman would stand outside and kind of do the goodbye to everybody.
Yeah.
I was like, you talk about. Sometimes it would last for about an hour and a half.
Yeah, dude, I love that.
And I love it too. Well, you're like I said, you're a good host yourself. Again, if you that's why in the club business, it's funny in the club business. You're either a friendly owner or you're just an owner who just does not, just doesn't want to be bothered. There's no middle ground with club owners. For some reason.
Well, you know what though? I have to say with myself, I do have a middle ground. Like I really some days I'm hearing the bit. Like sometimes I hear hearing bands constantly.
Yeah, you're human. You get enough.
Yeah, but sometimes, man, I'll hear a fucking certain band, and I'll stand in the fucking corner.
I've seen you. I've been next to you when that's going on. You're like, oh, tell me a little about this band.
I love that. I love hearing something different and some guys, even if they're not the best band in the world, and I see that Winter Wolf, those Winter Wolf guys?
Yeah, Winter Wolf.
Yeah, they're doing something different. I think they have to hone their thing a little bit, but I think those guys are fucking great, and the more they mature, the more they're going to do.
Absolutely.
Just because they have, they're young dudes. And I see they're putting the work in to make something a little bit different. Yeah. And I love seeing that. And sometimes you'll hear bands that are like a typical thrash metal band, and you're like, that's fucking good. But, it's rare that, I guess it's rare that you're like, everybody's putting the fucking effort in here. But there is certain times where I'm just like, I just can't deal tonight.
It's all about attitude. I think with a lot of these bands, like especially, some of the newer bands too, who do have some of those growing pains that do need to learn. If they come into this with an open mind and they're willing to talk to people, not take criticism, as you see, that's the thing, is a criticism and a personal attacks. There's kind of a fine line between some people. Yeah. And it's like, look, I'll be honest with you. If I played a show and I was the drizzling shits that night, I'd want someone to tell me. Because so that way when I play again, 9
times out of 10, though, if you were good or bad. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes we beat ourselves up too much. You're like, I fucked
sometimes
up,
we're overly hard on ourselves, and it's just like you're just sitting there. Oh fuck, I missed 3 notes and it sucked. It's like, dude, nobody knows.
Well, you'll notice things that other people won't notice. I've had this discussion with him as their manager. And Apparition and Damn Your Eyes, and shout out to them. Thank you again for what you did for Damn Your Eyes today. That they'll know if they were on point and stuff. But it's also good that people didn't know that they weren't on point and still thought they were great.
Right, exactly.
So I'll be in the audience. I'll say, everyone thought you were great. We missed that. One glitch there. Like nobody.
It's like as a musician, you hold on to it because it's kind of like because you always want to be be the best musician possible. You want to play everything cleanly or whatever. But you got to know that fine line too. If the crowd doesn't doesn't notice it. If the crowd comes in, they paid the ticket money, they enjoyed themselves, and they left happy.
Yep.
It's a successful show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what are you going to do now that we have to have seated and you got to do songs like Blue Velvet and Teddy Bear?
Well, I was joking with some people. We're a hard rock band. I think we're going to add a polka edge to it too. We'll give Tim the accordion. We'll have Billy sit on the djembe.
To the table. How's everybody tonight? How's the fish? Good.
Just stick to all ballads now.
You just have to talk in that golf voice. It's be like, "Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out tonight."
I mean, again, like you look at the clubs like Lucky 13 and Blackstone, St. Vitus and stuff.
Yep.
I'm just thinking there has to be tables and have like a supper club environment. Yeah. You can't do it. It's not going to work.
I have to say, I have minimal storage here.
Yeah.
Like, already the tables that I fucking spent money on buying outside and all this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
If I got to buy more tables for inside, it's like, all right, when this dies down, what the fuck? I don't want to just throw the shit away that I spent.
Exactly,
all this money
and I don't get how they don't see how small businesses and independently owned businesses don't have the funds to do this.
Yeah.
It's almost like I said, this fucking teasing carrot that's like rotten inside and out that they're giving you. It's like, and again, that whole thing, find a way, be creative. Easy for them to say.
Exactly. Easy for them to say, especially fucking guys mine in your age. You're younger, James, but guys mine in your age who aren't the most fucking, adaptable. Listen, my books I still keep here. I write everything down.
I write everything down too. I told you the same thing.
I during this quarantine, I was actually going to start using QuickBooks and start putting my shit, but I'm like, I don't know. My system works.
But even that's too. We can be as creative as we can, but you're asking us to do Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Because the guys in the business even longer than me and you. I mean, shout out to Nick from Blackthorn. We have butt heads on a lot of things, but I'll give him credit. He's a survivor in the business. And guess what? Right now, Nick, what do you think is going to happen? I have no idea.
Yeah, no.
40 years in the business. He has no idea.
Nobody knows what's going on.
That's my mentor. What am I going to tell you? I'm 30. You're 20 years, 30 years in the business almost.
Yeah.
We don't know what to tell anybody. And I think that's because I'm sure even some of your employees go, Jeff, what do you really think is going to happen? And you don't want to lie to them, but you're like, just hang in there. We'll see what happens.
Well, one thing too, on my social media page, I put up a post today, and I was just like, hey, what do you guys think? How do you guys feel? How can we open, safely? That you would be comfortable in doing that. And a lot of people gave ideas. We should, there's a certain AC filter that you have to put in that you have to do that could help do this. You can, temperature checks. Like I'm paraphrasing a lot of what people said, and they're not bad ideas.
No.
On paper.
Yeah.
And they're not bad ideas in practice either. It's just, the money that goes in to do that. I mean, how much would it cost to get that specialized AC in here for centralized air to do that?
No, it's not worth it.
In this building.
No one's going to do it. That's the whole thing. I get word. Here's the word I hear from club owners. Well, it was nice being in the business.
Yeah.
No one's doing that.
Yeah, no.
Because they also like, why am I going to do something that I'm told is only temporary? So what you're bleeding yourself out twice over.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah. Well, and here's another thing too, because I know I'd mentioned this to a few people too about, because live streaming is a big thing. A lot of bands are doing live streaming or whatever. What if we bug some of these rooms? What if, GoPro, we do a thing like that. But even with something like that, okay,
it has to generate revenue.
How are you gonna generate revenue? And if there's ever a power outage or anything, well, you're fucked.
Well, exactly that, and exactly in a place that also depends on people drinking.
Exactly. That's what. Listen, we don't take money from the bands.
Yeah.
We want people to come in and drink.
Yeah.
We don't take a part of the door. Like we don't do that.
Right,
like,
but you have to pay a doorman, a sound man.
Exactly.
And
Yeah, exactly.
right now there are none of that because they're on furlough right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then we take that away from them too. And again, it's these places like Lucky 13's lucky to be able to do this. Blackthorn Kingsland can't do this right now. I don't know what Goldstown status is. St. Vitus is closed.
St. Vitus is closed right now.
Okay.
Definitely.
So again, the little things that you're able to do are not even enough.
Yeah, no.
If you're a bar with a back room like this, where most of your revenue is not coming from this back room, it's coming from the bar.
Front.
Yeah.
You're able to survive, but some places only open up during shows.
Even saying survive is a real subjective
Yeah,
thing to
it
say
is
right
because
now.
we depend on the bands coming in because that's what gets people in the door to drink. And
Yeah.
it's like, that's why I was saying, you know, somebody coming up on a Friday night saying, oh, you guys are fucking killing it. Suck my dick. Like, fuck you. We need the bands back. And
that's when you charge them like 10 times for the drinks.
You know, the same thing like when people say to me, well, what are you going to do if the industry doesn't come back? I'm like, I won't even answer that question.
No, you can't.
We don't know.
I don't want to think about that either.
I don't want to think about that.
Yeah, no, that's why people, you know,
It's 6 months. Let's not make like it's been 2 years now.
Yo,
you know?
but I've
It's
had
6 months.
Dude, I've woke up in cold fucking sweats that I moved back into my parents' basement, and I'm like fucking.
I wish my parents had a basement.
Yeah, but I'm like, you know, I'm just having those fucking nightmares. Like, fuck, man, I'm almost 50 years old. And I got to go back to doing construction work and doing other. I don't fucking know. I had some guy tell me today, bro, I can get you into the laborers union. Suck my dick. Do I look like I could be laborer right now?
See, that's the fun. Yeah, same thing with me too. I'm 52 years old, and it's like, you know, I can act young and be young, but. Again, the reality of it is, and if other people are in line for a job, you're going to hire me who has no experience. Oh, Kevin, I'm not that charming.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, who's going to get the. So thank God I do podcasting, you know, for wrestling and do what I do with podcasting, because that's been keeping a roof over my head. Yeah. But even that, thank God, I started doing that for fun 17 years ago before it was even called podcasting. I was able to be a kind of groundbreaking in that with the show that I'm on.
Yeah.
But if we weren't on that show, he knows that I'd be dead in the water because there was no Scondotto house to go home to. That's gone.
Right.
My father's long gone, 6 years now. Yeah. My mother lives with a boyfriend in a small apartment. There was no family home. So where do you go? Well, your friend put me. You know, and people also don't know how debasing that is for someone who's been independent. Oh, just go stay on a friend's couch.
Stay on a friend's
couch. Really, go fuck yourself. It's like, well, easy for you to say. Again, you know, if you're going to give me advice, give me something of a pep talk. Don't make me feel like even more
at a friend's house
and despair that I already feel.
I'm gonna say, yo, this is gonna fucking work out. Hold tight, we'll figure it out.
Just like exactly. People I want to be in a foxhole with, and people I don't want anywhere near the foxhole. Because anybody tells me to throw in the towel, whatever. Now, and I look at them and I'm like, easy for you to say, family money at home, your in-laws bought you your first house, signed your papers. Most people give me advice of people I take a second look at, and they have never been in the trenches for anything. They've been very fortunate. And I don't resent those people, but I resent the indifference to our business. Well, you know, you had a good run, 28 years booking bands. Well, it was, you know, go do something else. I was like, again, you know, probably don't say anything to me.
Right now, we need thinkers. You know, everyone, I understand solutions. Everyone is outraged. Everyone has their frustrations, and everyone is entitled to their frustrations. But, you know, sitting there, frustrations isn't going to open the doors. It's not going to get us out of this situation. We need to think of ways to get out of that situation. Because I could sit here today and be like, man, I'm not touring. This fucking sucks. It's very easy to say that. Okay, well, what's the solution? What do I do? How do you do it? You know, we got to start thinking about more productive thinking.
The problem is, and we talked about this earlier, is that there's higher powers above us that are making who are shot callers who don't even know what we do. They don't even know what we do.
Well, it gets back to what I said before: is that there's no experts talking to those powers that be, telling them that too. So maybe that's something to look into.
I almost see those guys, the Cuomos and the Blasio, sitting around going, "That's who need concerts. Who go bands?
Yeah, that's how I feel too.
It's like bands and rock and roll and nah.
That's how I feel. I feel like they don't. And you know, for them to say they just have no fucking clue.
Go watch Netflix. Go online and watch them videos on YouTube.
Close down for 6 months. You'll be all right. You can open up in 6 months. Okay, what the fuck am I going to do to make money in the meantime?
Exactly.
And there's also a lot of immigrants who fucking wash dishes there that get paid off the books.
Exactly.
And now what the fuck are they? They're the ones in the fucking food lines.
And that's why crime is going up.
Oh my God, fuck yeah.
I think muggings are coming back. Street muggings. Which is hard to do because there's cameras everywhere. You have to get away with a good mugging.
But now you're masked up. It's going to be a lot harder to fucking catch somebody. And somebody's walking up with a mask behind you. You're not like, this is weird. Some dude's coming up with a mask behind me because everybody's got fucking masks on.
That's true. I did the mask aspect. it's funny, and people who are career criminals are like, "This is great for us."
Fuck yeah. Listen,
Like those, there's more jewelry heists now.
Oh,
Again.
yeah.
I didn't think you'd see that anymore.
Yeah, no.
People are
Yeah,
robbing
man.
jewelry places now.
Fuck yeah.
It's like casino again. It's like 1974.
Oh, the weirdest thing is when you go into the bank and you see everyone with masks on.
Yeah.
It's like, especially the cloth ones, and you're just like, all right, so
They would have called the cops on you.
Like I said, I have that cynical side to me where I feel like some people have to outlaw it, and it's almost something that's in this career criminal piece of shit. But I think they're going to push so many people to the brink.
Oh, yeah.
That crime, and also another thing we don't talk about is suicides and stuff are up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Listen,
mental health during all
mental
this.
health is
Jesus.
terrible right now.
I've known
seriousness,
I've
yeah.
known 2 people that have committed suicide
Me too.
already, and
Me
then
too.
indirectly a couple others. And one of was a bartender, and whatever. It's just
They're calling that there's even like a word for a COVID despair.
Yeah.
Like some people even saying it's COVID related.
Yeah.
Of just having despair and just being so down and out of future prospects and not really.
Oh, yeah.
Again, and it's funny because people will be like, the person must not have been that stable to begin with. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, because. First of all, again, understand this. We are in flux, and we've been on hold. It's like being stuck in the mud, and there's no.
Yeah.
You just sit in the car, and you're just waiting for someone to come and get you.
The key word is empathy.
Yeah,
You know,
empathy.
it's being able to put yourself in their
the other
shoes
person's
and
shoes.
feel how they're doing. Like, you couldn't even imagine being, being a bartender as an example, and it's like at the beginning of this happens and it's just months go by, you have no income, you have nowhere to go, everything's closed. What the fuck do you have? What do you have? And then you look on the news, you look at everything else around, death and despair, politics,
They're not
other
reporting
shit,
on that.
and
They're
just
reporting on
boom,
COVID
boom,
cases.
boom,
Yeah,
just
They're not
going.
reporting on. Well,
Yeah.
Jeff, a lot of bartenders, are they even making half of what they used to make?
No, fuck no.
Exactly.
At first, when we first opened up, like people were coming up and like I have to say though, people have been very generous. People are, being
people,
very generous
Lucky
to the,
13 have been
to the to the staff and stuff like that. And they have their moments where they do okay, but no, they're not making what they were making. Especially like Friday, Saturday nights, they're doing okay, but not what they were making, but they're doing okay. But during the week, it's
And that just shows you like they're willing to work during the week, even to maybe make 30-40% of what they used to. But the bills haven't gotten any less.
No, fuck no.
They haven't gotten any less. They haven't done rent forgiveness or anything like that.
There's a moratorium on evictions, but there's not a moratorium on paying rent.
No, exactly. Exactly. But
so even you don't pay that fucking rent, you still owe it back. I mean, the thing you're gonna do is okay.
It's a running tab.
Yeah, well, they're not going to evict you if you bet it. The landlords are going to end up getting fucked because they're going to stay as long as they can, and then all of a sudden they're fucking 20 grand in debt with fucking rent. They're just going to.
And
fucking
let's
move
be
the
honest,
fuck
it
out.
ruins what maybe good relationships between tenants and landlords
Exactly.
in business.
Oh, yeah.
And you feel bad
private
for the
houses.
landlord,
You
but
feel
you're like,
terrible.
fuck, I can't pay you back 20 grand. What are you fucking crazy?
And then you have that animosity, and you feel like again, it's like a shit.
It's an uncomfortable situation all around. So
Well, guys, I'm gonna start wrapping it up. I'm gonna fucking take a piss myself. And
I'm older than you. I got better bladder control.
yeah, my bladder sucks. It sucks. I've had these water and cranberries, and now I'm like, fuck.
Jesus Christ. It was a good one, though.
Yeah,
we got
man,
a lot of
definitely.
good talking points.
Good seeing you guys, and I don't know, man. Hopefully, we'll be back to fucking normal at some point.
Yeah, we'll do another update in 2 months or so. and see where
every
we're at.
3 months we'll come
good.
We'll
back.
look forward
Yeah.
we look forward to being back here in a working capacity,
Yeah, I
you know,
hope so.
and doing shows again.
You guys want to plug your Kev? You want to plug your podcast?
Oh yeah, Don Tony Kevin Castle show. It's a big Summer Slam tonight, and every Monday, and you can find us on every outlet. From Podbean to Pandora. We're all over the place actually, and we have a Patreon. It's Don Tony Patreon/Don Tony, which is my partner, and we do Patreon shows. And every Tuesday we do all sorts of VIP stuff, and we date back 17 years with hotlines and shows. We have sorts of giveaways and. Again, that's what I do now. People even say you're a booker of shows. I'm like, I get in a way,
You're a
yeah.
podcaster.
I'm on furlough. I'm a talker now for a living. Thank God I was able to do that. But yeah, we got SummerSlam tonight, which is a big thing for wrestling fans. So
Good. Yeah. James.
Check out my band Ryder. We're a hard rock band. We're right here from Queens, New York. We just came out with our first studio album, Killer Karma. It came out on August 5th. It's been doing extremely well. I haven't heard a bad review yet. So hopefully Other people will enjoy it, or if you hate it, you could be that first bad review.
Yes.
So check it out.
You just gave incentive.
I just gave incentive. Hey, listen, the worst thing in the world is to get no reaction. But check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/RiderBand, at Rider_NY on Instagram, and youtube.com/RiderBand.
Yeah, and also shout out to Damn Your Eyes and Apparition, who I also manage along with Ryder, who all three bands have had the best attitude about this. They're keeping active, putting product out, new merch out. And today, Damn Your Eyes filmed the video here. Thank you again, Jeff, for doing that for them.
No problem.
And these are guys who are, you see the work ethic in them.
Yeah.
They're not thrown in the towel of anything, because you hear of bands who, I haven't even talked about them since March. I don't even know if we're still a band anymore. All these guys are intact and have the right attitude, like we talked about as club people, that there will be a day again that they grace those stages and they'll be ready for it. So that's what's a good thing.
Awesome. All right. I will talk to you guys next week. Thank you guys for coming out.
Thanks, Chef.
Later, guys.
Peace.